back to my channel. I hope that you're doing well. Welcome to another video, and welcome back to another TBR Tarot video. Per usual, I'm going to be using my Fairy Loot Tarot deck to pick my TBR for the month of November. Second to last month of the year, trying to finish up some series, hit my goals, and just genuinely read some really good books. That being said, my potential TBR for the month of November is absolutely massive. I had about 60 books to choose from, so I'm hoping that all the books that I get for my prompts are ones that I genuinely want to read. Let's hope. I mean, you think with 60 options, they should all fit the prompt, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and talk over how I did in the month of October. We'll talk about whether or not I need to take a punishment, and then we'll get into the actual pulls. So without further ado, let's get into it. So for the King of Pentacles, I chose Rewrite Our Story, and I did read this. For the Ten of Stars, I chose Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score, and I did read this. For Page of Pentacles, I chose The Right Move by Liz Tomford, and I did read this. For the Four of Stars, I chose Afraid Trust by Olivia Lewin, and I did read this. For the Ace of Pentacles, I chose One Last Rainy Day by Kate Stewart, and I did read this. For the Star, I traded this out for my reward, which was a free prompt pick, and for that I chose Lotus by Jennifer Hartman, and I did read this. For Page of Wands, I chose Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. I am currently a good chunk of the way through this and will finish this before the month is over. For the Hierophant, I chose Give Me More by Sarah Kate, and I did read this. For the Queen of Stars, I chose Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, and I did read this. And then finally, for the King of Stars, I chose Mother of Death and Dawn by Carissa Broadbent, and unfortunately, I did not read this, so I will have to take a punishment for the month of October. Punishments aside, let's just talk about my goals for the month of November. I obviously have my book club picks that I need to read for this month. So the first one is A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner. This is the November book club pick for the Swoony Readers Book Club, hosted by myself, Nikki, Dana, and Karina. All other information will be linked down below, as well as the Instagram for the Swoony Readers if you guys choose to join us for the month of November. I'm very excited to read that book. And then we're also reading a book for Black Hat Coven Book Club, and that book is by JL. It is called A Taste of Magic. It is a cute little middle grade. It looks really good. I read a book by this author in the past, so I'm hoping that this is the month that is going to be a win for me. So of course, if I can fit those books into my TBR, I'm going to do my very best. Other than that, I'm really trying to finish up series. I have so many series that I'm currently in the middle of, and I would love to get those done. So I'm hoping that every single book that I choose in today's video will be either the end of a series, a sequel, and I'm trying very, very hard not to start any new series. So cross my fingers and hopefully I can make that work. I also have decided to pick a Kindle book to read every single month using a spinner wheel, because I picked up a lot of books on Stuff Your Kindle Day, and I have so many that I really had to push myself to actually read them. So I put my spinner wheel up right here if you guys want to see what I got. I ended up picking Emergence of Fire. I believe this is a Why Choose paranormal romance with dragons and fae and shapeshifters, so it sounds like it's going to be something that's right up my alley. Hopefully I really love this one, and it'll be my Kindle read throughout the entire month. And again, if I can squeeze it in to my TBR, I will do my very best. So with all of that housekeeping out of the way, let's go ahead and pull my punishment and get into my pulls. Alright friends, before we do our pulls, let's go ahead and pull our punishment for the month of October. No phone for 24 hours. Alright, sounds good. Alrighty friends, the deck is shuffled. Let's go ahead and pull our 8 cards for the month of November. Okay, the King of Stars. The King of Stars is a pick from October, so we will be doing 9 pulls. Okay, so for pull number 1, we got the King of Stars, a duplicate from last month, so an automatic add to the TBR. We love this for me. And for this, I chose to roll over my one unfinished book from last month, only because I really do want to read it and continue on with the series, and that is Mother of Death and Dawn by Carissa Broadbent, the second book in the War of Lost Hearts series. This one follows a girl named Tasana who, at the beginning of the story, is a slave and has been working for many years to buy back her freedom. On the day that she is supposed to buy back her freedom, however, something very tragic happens and she ends up on the run. She goes to this town very well known for having order magic, and she wants to learn this order magic so she can eventually go back to this town where she fled and free her friends from slavery as well. During that time, she gets partnered with a man that very much does not want to train her, but there are no other trainers available and he is forced to do so, and it is also a fantasy romance between the two of them. So I'm very excited to move on to book 2. The cliffhanger and the way that it ended on book 1 makes me very intrigued to see how the series will continue, and hopefully I will really love it as much as book 1, if not more. All right, let's shuffle and then pull for prompt number 2. Wow, okay, that's the one. The Fool. Pull number 2 got us The Fool, and that is to read a second chance romance. And for this, I'm going to be reading A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner, the group book for the Swoony Readers Book Club. This is a second chance romance. I don't want to talk about the synopsis of this, however, because I feel like it's very good, or what I've heard from this book, it's very good to go in blind. I do know it's second chance, I do know that, and I heard that it's very, very sad, very emotional, and very, very messy. It has been very much compared to Magnolia Parks. I have read that and was utterly destroyed by that book, so I'm very, very scared to read this one, but I'm also very excited. Hopefully we all love it, and it is a new favorite book. Alrighty, shuffle number 3. The World. Up next, we pulled The World, and that is to read a big book, so a book over 500 pages, and I chose to read The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. I have been wanting to read another Mariana for quite some time, so I'm very excited that I have this one to pick up. The reason I chose this is because it's following football, and it is football season, so I figured why not pick up a book that is very seasonal. I don't really know too much about this. I believe it has to do with an assistant, a housekeeper. I'm thinking more Grumpy Sunshine, slow burn romance. I love Mariana. I love her slow burn. I'm excited to read this. I've heard great things, so hopefully I love it. Shuffle number 4. For prompt number 4. Oh, I cannot shuffle these. They're so big. The 6 of Stars. Our next pull got us the 6 of Stars, and that is a random color generator. I will put the generator up on the screen. As you can see, I got like I think it was like pale yellow. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a yellow color. And for that, I chose our unofficial book club pick for the month of November, and that is Caught Up by Liz Tomford, the 3rd book in the Windy City series. As you can see, it does have some yellow in the sky here on the sunset. I definitely feel like it fits the color that was picked, and I'm very excited to read this one. This was a book I was going to read regardless, so I'm glad that I was able to get it onto my list. Also, it is a 3rd book in a series, which is going to catch me up in the series because currently is the last published book in the Windy City series as of right now. That being said, this is a baseball romance. It is a single dad, nanny/cook romance, and I'm just very, very excited. Kai has been teased in the story for quite some time, so I'm very, very excited to read his story. I've heard nothing but good things, and I'm hoping that it's just as good as book 1 and book 2. Prompt number 5. The 9 of Stars. Our 5th pull got us the 9 of Stars, and that is to read a book in a series, and for that I'm going to be reading Bloodshed by Molly Doyle. This is the 2nd, technically, I think it's the 3rd book in the series, but it follows the events in between the 1st and 2nd book. So what I'm talking about is Scream for Us and Melt for Us by Molly Doyle. They are 2 holiday short novellas that I really, really loved, and I'm very excited to get to the full-length novel. I've heard nothing but great things about this. I'm very, very excited to read it, and I'm just hoping that I love and adore it just as much as the first 2 novellas. I don't know too much about it other than the fact that it does deal with the events that happen, I believe, in Scream for Us, the events between, and then as well as Melt for Us. I could be wrong about that. Nikki has read it and loved it. This is a masked men, why choose romance. Yes, it's unhinged to say the least, but I feel like if you are down with things like that, this is a really, really good one, and I'm hoping that Bloodshed is incredible. Pull number 6. The 10 of Stars, which is another repeat from last month, so there will be 10 pulls this month. Our next pull got us the 10 of Stars, another pull from last month, so we're up to 10 pulls at this point? I don't even know. And this is to finish a series. The book I chose is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. My stand-in right now is Fourth Wing, obviously the 1st book in the series. I am beyond excited to pick up book 2 in the series. We've been waiting for it for months and months and months, and I will be rereading Fourth Wing, so I figured I would show it in this video because a reread is imminent. It's happening. I'm very, very excited for it, and I cannot wait for Iron Flame. I'm hoping it does not let me down. I'm hoping it does not disappoint, but I don't think that it will. If you don't know what Fourth Wing is about, this follows Violet Sorrengail, At the beginning of the story, she's very excited to enter the scribe quadrant, where she is hoping to like spend her days being a scribe, learning about the details in books. But the day that she figures out what quadrant she's going into, she realizes that her mother has signed her up to be in the writer's quadrant, basically a place where you go to learn how to ride dragons, but it is a very, very dangerous place to be. And Violet has a chronic illness, which makes her bones and her joints very, very frail, and it makes it hard for her to be in such a dangerous place, but she is unwilling to give up. Her entire family is dragon riders, and she must carry on the mantle. It is a fantasy romance with dragons, and it's incredible. I love this book so much, and I'm so excited to continue on with the series. Pull number 7 out of 10. The Chariot. Our next pull got us The Chariot, and this is to read a book involving war. Now, I think I might be losing my mind because the book I chose, not only is it massive, but it is very, very dense adult fantasy. But I've been telling myself that I want to continue on with the series for a very long time, so it's time. I think. I'm going to read The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson, the second book in the Mistborn series. I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know who thought this was a good idea, but you see that? Send help. Thank you. I'm not even going to try to explain the synopsis of the first book, The Final Empire. Hopefully I can read it. Hopefully I remember enough about the series to understand what's going on, and hopefully I can finish it, or else another punishment is imminent. Pull number 8. The King of Pentacles. Okay, friends, we're getting bad luck this month. The King of Pentacles was from last month as well, so we will be pulling 11 pulls. The next card that we pulled is the King of Pentacles, another pull from last month, so we're up to 11 pulls. It's wow. But this is a mood read, so kind of a win? I don't know. Again, I don't know what I'm thinking because this book is chunky, but I want to read this with the anticipation that it's probably going to be in the Goodreads Choice Awards for this year, and that is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare, the first adult book that she has written, and the first book that she has written outside of the Shadowhunters world. It's something I'm very excited for, and the buzz that I've heard for this book so far has been incredible, so I need to read it. I don't want to have any spoilers. I want to be ahead of the game when it comes to Goodreads Choice Award picks. Will I have read a lot of them? Probably not, but at least I could read this one. Do I know what it's about? No, I don't, but I've heard great things, and I want to read it. And I want to give Cassandra Clare's other work outside of, you know, Shadowhunters a try. So, crossing my fingers I like this one, because I did buy a special edition. But we shall see. Pull number 9. The Star. You're kidding. That is also from last month. How is this possible? Okay, 12 pulls, it's fine. Then, you know, our luck was just terrible. We got The Star, which is another pull from last month. So we have 12 pulls this month. And they're all chunky apparently, but The Star is to read a book that has the no one but you trope. And for this, I'm choosing a reread, so I'm being easier on myself, and I'm gonna pick Still by Kennedy Ryan, the last and final book in the Grip trilogy. I am rereading this because Karina decided to pick this series up and read it, so I'm reading it alongside her. And this book is the definition of no one but you trope. The groveling, the angst is incredible. The last book definitely has some intense trigger warnings, so please check the triggers before picking this series up. But I love this book so much. It's one of my favorite books of all time, and I cannot wait to do a reread. Pull number 10. Okay. The Ace of Moons. Alright, pull number 10 got us the Ace of Moons, and that is to read a book with an opposite cover to the last book that I picked. So I picked Still by Kennedy Ryan. This is a pretty like light and bright cover. I believe the original cover, well, I know the original cover is also kind of light and bright, so I figured it worked to pick something much darker. So because of that, I chose The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake, the first book in the Atlas series, Atlas 6 series. I don't even know what the series is called, but I do need to read this book. It is a book that I need to read because the third book is coming out special edition through Owlcrate, and I need to read the first book before I decide to buy book 3. Also, this is my in-person book club for a book club that is run with my little small bookstore that I used to work at. This is the book club pick for the month of November. So I was going to read it regardless, but I'm glad that I got it on my list. And hopefully I can read it pretty early on in the month so I can decide if I want to buy the third book as a special edition. That being said, this follows 6 people that are in, I don't know, this school, the Alexandrian Society, and it's like a battle to the end, and only 5 of them will get in. So I'm curious to see what I think. I read a little bit of Olivia Blake's work in the past, and her writing can be a little bit pretentious and hard to understand, so I'm curious to see what I'm going to think of this fantasy setting. But, you know, school settings are always one of my favorites, so I'm hoping that I really love this. Pull number 11. The Moon. Up next, we got The Moon, and that is to read an emotional read. And you're thinking, Kaylani, look at your stack. Isn't it so large? Shouldn't you pick a small book? Yeah, probably. But what did I do? I picked 2. I am participating in the tandem read of the Throne of Glass series. And the tandem read includes Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms, both of them, because they both take place in the same timeline, following the same events, but just following different characters. So one of the books follows, like, the one core group of people, and then it follows the other core group of people, and then they converge. So you're supposed to read them in tandem. As you can see, I have them tabbed out based off of how, you know, you should read them. But am I losing my mind a little bit by adding these to my TBR, my official TBR that I have to read? Yes. But am I planning on reading this 2 books anyways? Yes. So I figured it was a safe bet, and I didn't have to try to squeeze it in, you know, on top of everything else. The logic made sense when I picked it, but now I'm questioning myself. How that stack is still standing. I spoke too soon. And what is hopefully our last pull, pull number 12. The Emperor. And finally, we made it, the last pull of the day. Oh my gosh, The Emperor. And this is to read a billionaire romance. I do love a good billionaire romance, and for that I'm going to continue on with the series, and I'm going to read Not So Meant to Be by Megan Quinn, the second book in the Kane Brothers series. I really enjoyed book 1. Really loved it. I read it 2 months ago, and I've been meaning to pick up the next book in the series for a while, so I'm excited that this one got put on here. That being said, I don't know anything about this. I just know that it is a billionaire romance, and it's following one of the Kane brothers. Maybe a friends to lovers? I don't know, but it looks like it's going to be super cute, and hopefully I like it just as much as book 1. Listen, I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna try to pick it up because it's doing things, and I'm a little afraid. That being said, I still have quite a few books that I want to read for this month, so I'm just gonna quickly rattle off a few that if I could read on top of this, I'm gonna try my best. So I really want to read Hopeless by Elsie Silver, the last and final book in the Chestnut Springs series. Again, trying to finish series, and that would definitely be one that fits the bill, and I'm so excited for that book. I've heard it's so good. I already own the audiobook. I just need to pick it up. I also would like to continue with Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, the second book in the Red Rising series. I feel like if I don't read these books back to back to back, I'm going to forget most of the details, and that's definitely one that I want to continue on with. I also really want to read Mercy by Sarah Kate, the next book in the Salacious Players Club series. I would love to get to Madam, but I don't want to skip around, so I need to read Mercy, The Highest Bidder, and then, of course, Madam. Also, as a group, I believe we're all reading The Canary Cowards by Jessie Hall, and that is also another football romance. I don't know anything else other than that, but I am very excited for it, and hopefully I can pick this one up. Also, I would like to read King of Greed by Anna Huang, the third book in the Kings of Sin series. Again, catching up with series. I would like to stay as caught up as I can with that series as it continues to grow. I also want to read Radiant Sin by Katie Robert, the next book in the Dark Olympus series. And the list goes on and on and on and on. Those are just some of my top ones that I would love to get to. We shall see if I'm able to read any of that, especially because I have just a few chunky books on this list. So send help, send all of the good vibes and the reading energy because I'm gonna need it. If you've read any of the books that I talked about today, please do let me know your thoughts down below. I would love to chat with you. Also, feel free to let me know what books that you are reading for the month of November and what is at the top of your TBR list. I would love to hear it. Maybe I can add it to my TBR as well because, you know, I have all the space. And then, of course, if you made it to the end and you don't know what else to comment, leave a football emoji. Football season. I don't really like football, but that's what we're going with today. That being said, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And of course, leave any comments, questions, suggestions in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye. Baby, turn it down like a sweet and ready.